Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the new screensavers is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. The new screensavers is brought to you by Audible.com. To download the free audiobook of your choice, go to audible.com/NSS. And by Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage brings the mortgage process into the 21st century with a fast, easy, and completely online process. Check out Rocket Mortgage today at quickenloans.com/NSS.
The iPhone 7's here, a 3D VR camera in your pocket, and hacking your computer with a USB stick. Live from the Twitch studios in beautiful Petaluma, it's the new Screensavers! Woo!
Do this. You got to redo it.
You gotta redo it.
Yeah.
We're driving up to the building. I went, oh, hey, Frederick Van Johnson.
What's up,
Leo
Leo
Laporte.
Laporte?
Time for the new Screensavers,
Yes.
episode 71 for Saturday, September 17th, 2016. You were saying we were in the show open. We drive up the Segways to the Brick House.
Yep. It's time to
I
change.
was over there yesterday.
You shed
Looks
a tear?
like Chernobyl.
Really?
After it's like stuff on the floor.
What are they converting it to? Restaurant?
Something someday, but it's nothing right now. It's just like, and there's, you guys left like 3 remote controls lying on the floor in there.
That's where they went.
And there's one green, there's a device that's on with a green light on it.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't matter. We're out. We can't even get in because it's done. September 1st.
You got the signage off the walls and all that stuff. It's all good.
Yeah, even the bricks. It actually.
The bricks.
Yeah. Well, So no, these are not.
I was gonna say those are
not the bricks. Yeah, we scrubbed all your names off of it. I hope you don't mind. No.
Oh.
The bricks they're in storage because we're waiting to figure out where we're going to put them. But I think we'll put them out in the hall.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
But no, of course we saved those. But the funny thing is, the way we got them, they were mortared to drywall, and we pulled them off, and now it really does look terrible in there because drywall is just like. It's like some monster went in there and went,
you're like tenants that got kicked out or something. You're like, we don't care. We're just trying to play.
Hey, we rented it as is. We renovated it completely. Apparently, they're putting a brewery in there, so they're going to have to tear it all out anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's great to see you.
It's good to be
One
here
of our
again.
favorite photographers, a pro photographer. We've got a great show. In fact, we're going to do a lot of camera stuff today.
I'm excited.
We've got a new VR camera that I think is better than everything we've seen before. It's a 180, and I'll tell you why I like that idea. The Lucid VR is here. You may have seen them on Indiegogo last year. You're going to show us an update to the DX1 camera, which is a perfect choice for an iPhone if you're an iPhone user.
Yep.
And I cannot wait to see how you do it. I've seen others do this too now, where it's a still picture, but like if there's water, it's going behind
Cinematograph.
it. It's a cinematograph.
That's a cinematograph. There's a new kid in town.
This is better than that?
It's different.
Okay.
It's just different.
Can I bring it on my trip?
Oh, yeah. You can bring it anywhere you have an internet
It's
connection.
software.
Yeah, I know it's in the cloud.
Oh, it's cloud. All right. Well, I'm on a boat. I don't have an internet connection.
Yeah, so you're screwed.
The cloud's great until you don't have an internet connection. And then it's like...
Then you have to actually enjoy your vacation. Look at that.
Oh,
it's like, wow, look, a sunset.
Terrible. We even have a photography question for you and call for help.
I'm ready for it.
We also sent a couple of reporters to TechCrunch Disrupt, which is this week. It's a fun event, and saw something really cool. Everybody was excited about it. You know, VR, you can look around and see the pictures.
Yeah.
But what about sound? This is VR sound. So as you turn your head, the sound moves with it. I think this is very cool. Father Robert also is going to show us a hack. He got a hacker in here named Mubix, who has a way to, within seconds, download all the passwords from a Mac or Windows PC. Just boom, like that. Just
Why
plug
would
it
you
in.
want to do that?
No
Just
use.
because you can?
Just because you can.
Yeah, that's hacking. Yeah.
Now, we also have the PS4 Slim. You see this right here. It is
Yeah, I
slim.
know.
It's also, you know, if you got cold, you could sit on that and it would warm you right up.
Heating blanket.
Warm you right up there.
I like it.
And I got the new iPhone 7. Look at that.
And I don't. Look at that.
And how can you tell the difference? Look at that.
Wait.
There's 2 ways you can tell the difference. turn it around. And this is the new camera with 2 lenses, 2. It's twice as good. It's got the same 28mm lens, effectively the same camera on there. And then they've added a second 56mm. That's effective.
Which is, it's a telephoto.
But it's, now, see, now you're a photographer. Calling it telephoto isn't quite true.
It's closer. Let's call it a longer focal length.
Well, I'll show you here. Let me give you a shot here. So we're looking at Frederick, and that is, can you get a single of that? Yeah, there you go. So there's a button here. I tap that, and it's closer. Now I have to say that there's, it's not super zoom, but that is nice. And this is where we're most interested in what they're going to do with these 2 lenses. I can slide in between the 2. And it's not like your typical it's more like optical. It's not quite optical, but it's better than digital zoom, right? And of course you can go beyond that and then super digital. Now it's digital and you see it's getting blocky.
Yeah.
So, but what we thought Apple would do with the 2 lenses is maybe something a little more computational where it would get images from both lenses.
Well, they're going to do that. They're going to release that feature.
They're going to do portrait,
right.
Not out yet. That may not be as sophisticated as it sounds. It sounds like they take 2 images and one's in the background.
Figure out the deltas and blur the other one.
And it's foca, we call it. Not bokeh.
Foca. Brilliant. I like it.
Yeah, you can use that on This Week in Photography.
Trademark. Yeah. Foca.
This also, the other way you can tell is, wow, look, there's no, the bottom, something's missing. It's called a hole. Instead of 1 hole, now they got 8. So they took the headphone jack out, right? That's a little controversial. Some people don't care.
How do you feel about it? How do you feel about that?
Well, for instance, I was going to demonstrate this, and I realized I left my dongle at home.
Yeah, that happens later in life.
It's going to happen a lot, right? You're going to have to go out and buy a bunch of Lightning port to regular headphone dongles until they're
going to be everywhere. You're going to have them in your car, everywhere.
They're $9, so I figured I'll buy like 10.
Yeah.
Put them on all my headphones, and eventually, there you go. And eventually, somebody reviewed the headphone dongle. Wow, that's called I got nothing.
I got nothing better
to do. Now, I'm going to make a couple of points about that. The fact that you have a headphone dongle means that what we are getting out of the Lightning port is not digital audio. They're using the DAC that's inside the iPhone. You're getting analog audio out of the Lightning port. So don't say, oh, it's an external DAC, it's going to be better. Now, presumably some headphones might.
Yeah.
But really, I think in the long run, Apple wants you to go to wireless. But get this. This is the funniest thing. So what? We have now a new speaker port, right? Where that's a nice improvement, except that's not a speaker port.
What is it?
No sound comes out of that. The stereo speakers are here, and the same old speaker port as before, which was the phone speaker, now both phone and music.
Oh.
So iFixit tore this down, and lo and behold, they found out there's nothing behind there. Those are holes into the body, and there's a piece of plastic there. And iFixit speculated, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's supposed to bring sound into the microphone. What does that do? Apple explained.
Let me see this.
Wait till you see what you're getting for the missing headphone port. Those holes don't go, they're not a speaker. That thing, that plastic, molded plastic, is a barometric vent. So remember, this is waterproof, IPX67. It can stay under a meter of water for like half an hour.
Yeah.
Good if you drop it in the toilet and you forget about it for half an hour.
I do that all the time.
All the time. But so of course, because it's sealed, you got to have a vent if you want the air pressure equalized inside. Why would you want the air pressure equalized inside? One reason: there's an altimeter. So you've lost a headphone port, but you've gained an altimeter. So now how much would you pay? Actually, the iPhone has always had an altimeter.
Just not as accurate
wouldn't
as
work.
this one.
No, it just wouldn't work in a sealed phone unless you equalize the pressure. So they had to do that. But Apple, did it really take courage to take out the headphone port and put in an altimeter port?
Cure in search of a disease.
Anyway, okay, I'm not going to go on. If you care about a headphone port, there's other phones you can get.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you don't have to. No more
or just
unsightly holes.
Just stay here. Don't wait in any lines.
Well, and kind of my advice is, if you have you have a 6S, right?
Yes.
A 6S.
6S Plus. Yeah.
6S. You already got 3D touch. You got a great camera. You don't have dual lenses. I would say stick with that. If you have an older phone, you don't have 3D touch yet, for instance. Then it's worth an upgrade. This is also haptic now. It's not physical.
How do you feel about that, though?
It's
seems
weird.
Like it goes like a next.
I don't know. What do you think? Touch it.
I
Touch my button. It's weird, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's like the MacBook. It feels just like
It
that.
is.
Yeah.
You've seen it before if you have a MacBook, because that's the same thing. It doesn't click, but it goes, eh.
Yeah.
It's not quite as clicky. It's just a eh.
Yeah. But no usage with gloves or.
Well, that's what Mike Hurley at Relay FM found out. If you use fabric, it doesn't work. Actually, it did there. So maybe it does work. Let's do a double.
Capacitive shirt there.
Well, exactly. Because apparently it's using the fingerprint sensor. Yes, it's not working now.
Yeah.
It uses the fingerprint sensor. It needs to be capacitive.
Yeah.
Just to be aware of. It's not going to be a good solution for
Chicago,
gloves.
forget about the gloves.
You know, it was nice even if you're wearing gloves. I mean, obviously you can't use the screen.
Use
but
capacitive touch gloves on there.
Yeah, they make those. They have little silver filaments.
I don't know. I could see where that's going though, because iPhone 8 will probably be all screen, I'm guessing.
I think that's the case.
And they're going to have to go in that.
Now, they do say it's a better screen. The color gamut is much better. You look great in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a
Nice.
handsome,
I know that guy.
handsome fella.
Look at that.
That's the picture I just took, by the way, and I zoomed in on
bad.
it. So they say it's a better gamut. It's a better screen. I have to say the camera is very good. It does very well. One of the things we were talking about this before is that film, traditionally Kodak film particularly, has been tuned for Caucasians. And as a result, African Americans, people of color, have always looked super dark on film.
Yeah.
And that's
like
unfair.
Like a stop and a half normally.
Yeah, so you lose your features. It's kind of, frankly, creepy, right?
Yeah.
So it's clear, even though Apple hasn't announced this, they've made a real effort to make this a truer color gamut for all kinds of people.
Yeah,
and that I admire. You don't look dark and featureless. You look like you.
Yep.
Which is awesome. So
It's good. I mean, yeah. I mean, across the board, all skin tones from light all the way down to super Nigerian dark should render fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Apple didn't make a big deal about it, although when they showed samples on the announcement, they showed a lot of people of color. And so we picked up on that immediately. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yep.
I think it is a very good camera. I like the zoom.
So you're going to keep it?
Yeah. A big upgrade is iOS 10. Have you already put to iOS 10?
I was on the beta, man.
Big upgrade.
Weeks ago, I was in there.
So I would say half of what's new in this phone you already got, because iOS 10, like the additional 3D touch capabilities,
Love it.
Those are fabulous.
Most of the stuff in iOS 10 I love. I'm still on the fence about messages, though. Messages, for me,
come on.
does not feel like a Jonathan Ive feature.
Oh,
I can't
it's
see Johnny
awesome.
Ive sending stickers.
It's the best. It's the best feature. Now I'm going to show you a really great tip here. This is a messages I'm talking to my mom. She likes to use emoji. I said, Mom, get iOS 10, because you'll see when you start to send a message, there is not only all these stickers and icons you can use, you can even play games. I can play words with friends.
I'm gonna challenge you.
Yeah. In messages, it's kind of a stripped down words with friends. And there's a store. See those 4 dots there? And look at all the stuff in the store.
Get the Jib Jab app.
Yeah, I got it.
That's ridiculous.
Look at all this stuff. I love Grammar Snob. You can annotate common grammatical errors with a red pencil. I mean, there is
People
going
are gonna hate me.
This is going to be a massive ecosystem of additional features.
I like that, but still, you have to exercise restraint, which generally
no restraint.
humans aren't accustomed to exercising restraint, because don't send animated, grammatically correcting messages to your boss.
Well,
that could be bad.
And of course, the other downside to that is if somebody doesn't have an iPhone or iOS 10,
then it just breaks.
They're not. Yeah. And so when I send stuff to Android people, those poor Android people, they get
sent
nothing.
using Slam Effect or something, right?
But I'm having so much fun with Lisa, because she's got it. I mean, I'm sending there's a Crossy Road, a smiling doggy. I think I sent her a picture. Let me make sure I didn't send anything bad here. I think I sent her a picture of her surrounded by kitty cats. Yeah, I did. So there's a sticker plugin that you could take an image and add cats. And doesn't she look happy there?
Yes.
Yeah, there's even a cat coming out of her purse.
I maintain a cure in search of a disease.
I guess, look, at the problem with it is these are very expensive. This is almost $1,000 if you get the 128 gigabyte version.
Did you get it unlocked?
Well, and that's another interesting story. They don't sell an unlocked one. You have to choose a carrier. The T-Mobile one is basically unlocked.
Can't do it.
But this year they're doing GSM and CDMA versions. So if you get the unlocked T-Mobile version, you may not be able to use it on Sprint and Verizon fully.
Doesn't work for me.
The tip, I guess the pro tip is get a Verizon phone because the LTE slot, the SIM slot, is unlocked by.
Oh.
Well, Verizon had to do a consent decree with the FCC.
Yeah.
So you'll get a CDMA phone that works with all GSM carriers as well.
Done.
So that's the pro tip. Eventually, Apple will sell an unlocked version, but right now,
That's
no.
the biggest tip ever.
Although this is a weird
unlocked
one.
is the way to go.
Oh, I agree. I don't want it to have to be locked into any carrier. I'm traveling. I'd love to be able to use an international carrier.
Or just a rental SIM and slap it.
Well,
in there,
and weirdly enough, I got it from AT&T. I had to activate with AT&T. It was activated to my AT&T phone number, but I just thought I'm going to Europe. I'd like it to be T-Mobile because they have I won't be paying extra for data there and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I put the T-Mobile SIM in and it worked. I didn't unlock it
Until this show.
Yeah, oh. No, I didn't do that. Who would do that? That would be nuts.
Oh.
I guess my bottom line review is if you have a much older iPhone, you'll get a lot of benefit, 3D touch, things like that.
It's the whole skip generation thing.
Yeah,
Right?
60% faster than the iPhone 6.
Do you notice the speed?
No, I never feel like my phone's slow.
This feels fine to me.
Yeah.
Except
So-
for that, the planned obsolescence when the new phone comes out.
when the new iOS comes out, sometimes that gets slower. And you can do that. You can take pictures in the rain, which I don't plan to. Anyway, there's my review. You are going to Photokina.
I'm not going to Photokina. I wish
okay.
I was. It's in Germany. You're going to be in that neighborhood. You should stop by.
Well, so there's two big photography. There's PMA,
That's in-
Photo Marketers Association.
Yes.
That's in Florida usually, right?
It moves around.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's in New York. Yeah.
Okay. And then Photokina. When's Photokina?
Photokina is coming up this week. So
Now, what do you expect big announcements?
Usually camera manufacturers hold off on their big announcements until Photokina. So we're expecting drones. We're expecting a new drone, that Karma drone from GoPro.
Oh.
That should come out. We're expecting new things from DJI. They have an announcement planned for next week. So
nice.
It should be interesting. I think this year the theme is going to be drones and VR. That's going to be the overall.
Now, Canon's already come out with its Mark IV, right?
Yeah.
And have you played with that?
I haven't. People on the TWIP crew have played with it. They love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
I've heard a lot. Michael O'Donnell, who comes here a lot, at Photo on Twitter, he must be a photographer,
Wow.
Had it, and I played with it a little bit. He said it's much faster saving, much faster focusing.
Yeah.
I was a Canon shooter. I still have all the
I was a
lenses.
Nikon shooter. I still they need to do more though. I just the whole mirrored technology, and I get
feel
slammed
like
for
they're
this.
falling behind.
It's not like falling behind. It's like you see these new cameras, and all this crazy stuff comes out
Yeah.
on these mirrorless cameras. They come out with that, and it feels like, hey, look at our horse and buggy with brand new wheels on it. They need to
You're a Panasonic.
I shoot Lumix. Yeah.
And I love my Sony A7s. I
Which
could
is
put any
brilliant.
lens on there. I mean, and they make the sensors for a lot of other cameras,
do.
including the D800.
Exactly.
So I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
It's mirrorless, but
Yep.
that means it's lighter and
It's lighter.
simpler.
Yeah. The problem with some of the smaller sensors like Micro Four Thirds, the one I shoot, versus yours
I'm
is
surprised as a pro you shoot Micro Four
I
Thirds.
shoot. You know why? Because what I shoot, I do a lot of multimedia stuff. So I'm doing lots of video. I need the 4K. Panasonic is known for the 4K
Right.
stuff. So I shoot video and stills.
Right.
So I need both to be really good.
Right.
Like
and you
the-
feel like even
the
though the sensor's
Sony's-
smaller, there's enough
Oh,
resolution.
it's totally good. It's perfect. Yeah.
I
it's
think
perfect.
sometimes we overdo the resolution. The
Yeah,
size,
and the
sensor
low
size
light
thing.
performance. Like I very rarely find myself taking pictures of black cats in dark closets. So I don't need
Well, and the benefit of Micro Four Thirds, the sky's the limit on lenses. You
Yeah,
get
and
glass from
adapters.
many manufacturers.
Pretty much every lens. You go to an old camera, used camera store, find lenses that were made in this, in the 30s, and put them on there.
Yeah, I had an old Olympus OM 150 millimeter that
Wow.
I used an adapter, put it on my OMD, and I loved it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's
All right,
fun.
one more thing to talk about before we get to our Disrupt coverage, and that's this. We've been waiting for this. This is the new. Are you a PlayStation or an Xbox?
Xbox One.
Me too.
Yes.
I have
Because
the
I like
One
to
S.
talk to it.
So, yeah, me too. Sony did kind of the same thing Microsoft did with this. This is the Slim, released last week for $299.99. That's with a 500 gigabyte hard drive. And we got the Uncharted bundle because we love Uncharted, which is one of the great Sony exclusive games. It's really, really beautiful.
I'm going to play that.
Are you? You want to play it while I talk?
Yeah, can I?
Yeah, go right ahead. But you should know it's not upgraded in terms of processor speed or performance. It's just smaller. It's also,
do I get this
as is
one?
often the case with smaller, a little bit hotter. And it has it doesn't have a brick or anything like this. I have the old PlayStation 3. So for me, this might make a sensible upgrade. But you know what I'm going to do is wait for next the next edition, November, the Pro will come out for $100 more, and that's going to have 4K capabilities. But I have to say, look at this image. It looks fantastic. I just love this game. Do you play? Have you ever played?
This is my second time playing this
It's
ever.
an awesome game.
Is this on Xbox though? No.
No. That's why you got to get a PlayStation 4. You know what else isn't on Xbox? No Man's Sky.
You know what else is not on Xbox?
What?
Me right now, because I'm playing.
I'm looking forward to the PlayStation VR. They also announced that at the Sony event. It was the same day as the Apple event, so you might have missed it. $399 for the PlayStation VR. That's just the VR. You'd have to have a PlayStation to go with that, right, Anthony? Now, here's the weird thing. Sony, which makes Blu-ray players. I mean, the Blu-rays there, they invented it.
Yeah, they did.
No player in here. And there won't be a player in the Pro either. And Sony's explanation, and I can't say I disagree with them, is there's no future with physical media.
I believe that.
So Xbox One S has the HDR UHD player built in. I bought it for that reason. There won't be a player in any of the Sony consoles this year. But their position is you're going to stream it. You're going to stream from Netflix, from Amazon. Everybody's doing 4K streaming, even 4K HDR streaming. There is no future in discs. That's funny coming from Sony.
Yeah.
What do you think? Don't fall. Oh!
Hey.
Doesn't this look beautiful? Is this not the most beautiful game? Do you feel like you're there? Go ahead, jump over there.
Whoa!
Left thumb. No, left thumb. Go ahead.
Wait.
Come on, you could do it.
Watch this.
Come on.
Watch
Oh,
this.
clever.
You ready for this?
Go ahead.
Watch this.
Oh!
Who's your daddy?
You're good. Man, if you were actually doing this, you'd get some exercise.
I know.
All right, there you go. That's our quick and, by the way, very impressive review of the new Sony PS4
And I didn't die.
Slim.
Look at that. On live TV.
I'm so jealous. I want to play that now.
What do you have, Xbox or this?
I have Xbox and a PS3, which I play Uncharted.
Do you use them both, or does one just gather dust?
One gathers stuff.
Yeah.
You know why I bought the PS3? It had a Blu-ray player in it. It was a cheap Blu-ray player at the time. Same reason bought the Xbox One for the same reason you did, to talk to it.
Yep.
And then,
I skipped that whole generation. I've never owned one Blu-ray disc, ever.
You're
Skipped the whole
smart
thing.
because I think physical media is probably dead.
Yeah.
I think Sony's probably, if Sony says it, it's definitely so.
Yeah.
Coming up, pocketable VR camera that shoots
Woo!
really amazing images. You're going to show us how to do some sort of new thing.
Something new.
Things will move and not move. And
Yes.
Some things will move, some things won't move.
Yes.
Go ahead, just stand really still right now. Great software. And then
Don't have nightmares.
stand real still right now. And then we're going to go to TechCrunch Disrupt. But first, can I tell you, are you an Audible guy? I think you are.
I am an Audible
Who
guy.
doesn't love Audible?
That's how I read.
So tomorrow night, getting on a plane, 12-hour flight. I want to stay up because I want to get on Europe time, right?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Not going to watch a movie. I am going to listen, if I can find a headphone adapter. I am going to listen to audiobooks.
Wait, Leo. Don't you have a companion that's traveling with you?
Oh, she'll be sleeping. She's already said she's going to go to sleep right away.
Okay.
So can I just point out how many books I have on here? I have like 20 books.
Oh, geez.
Neil Gaiman.
Yep.
I've got a college course from the great courses on the Middle Ages. I love it. It was great. I'm reading The Dark Forest, the sequel to the Three-Body Problem. Master and Commander. I love seafaring tales. I'm on a boat. I'm going to Russia, so I was suggested that I read this book, The Master and the Margarita. It's by a Russian novelist named Bulgarov who was banned during the Soviet era. He was banned in the... so he was a samizdat. That was like... The book was handed around secretly in the Soviet era. But now, of course, after the fall of the Soviet Union, this is read, and a friend of mine said, if you get this book, you will understand the Russian psyche. It's a modern Russian novel. I love it. You know what the premise is? What if Satan came to the Soviet Union, the atheist nation, and everybody said, oh, we're atheists, there's no Satan. And he had a field day. It's awesome. It's such a great book. I'm really enjoying it. And it's read by Julian Rind-Tutt, who is very British, and he does an amazing performance. That's what I love about Audible. You're not just listening to a book. It's a movie in your mind. It comes alive. Look, we're going to get you your first book free. All you have to do is go to audible.com/NSS, audible.com/NSS. The Audible also offers language instruction. I've got the Pimsleur French stuff because we're going to go to France. Foreign language audiobooks if you want to get really good. It's just awesome. So go to, pick your first book. There's so many great choices, science fiction, nonfiction. Audible.com/NSS. Got one you want to recommend?
I would recommend The Martian.
Oh, you know what? That would be a great first book.
The Martian
Lisa and I
great.
listened. You know when we listened to that as a couple. That's one of the things you could do for fun.
Oh, yeah.
We were driving in Hawaii. We were driving to Hana on Maui. So that's a long drive, and you need to stay relaxed because you can't go very fast. It's a one-lane road.
Yeah.
You got to stay cool, man.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Yeah.
So we listened to The Martian, and we were laughing and loving it the whole way.
Did you like it better than the movie?
Oh, of course. I always listen to the book before the movie. I love the movie, but if I'm going to have a spoiler, I want it to happen in the book.
Interesting. I do the reverse.
You like the spoiler to happen in the movie?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But like the Girl on a Train's coming out in the movie, I definitely say read the book first. Life of Pi is a good example. Book was so much better than the movie. The movie was great. It was just very, very different.
Yeah.
So read the book first because the spoiler in Life of Pi is quite a shock.
Oh, you know another one you should get?
What?
Cowboys in Indie.
No, don't know that.
Yeah, it's about the whole recording industry and labels and how they came
let me write
about.
that down.
Cowboys and Indies.
This
It's
is
by
what- this is
Gareth Murphy.
This is what happens when you meet somebody else who does Audible. First thing you do is what you listen to. What do you
Yeah,
like? What do you
yeah.
like? Gotta read that. Here's the deal.
There
Could
it
be
is.
yours, free.
Epic
All you have to
history
do,
of the record industry.
Audible.com/NSS.
It's only 15 hours.
I'm totally getting that. One more book to add to my list. Love that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? We're going to go to the big TechCrunch Disrupt Conference. This happens every year. TechCrunch, they have the startup pit or whatever where they fight each other. And it's a great way to find out about new stuff. Thunderdome, basically. Jason Howell and Myriam Joire were there, and they fill us in with all the cool stuff. Watch.
Hey Leo, so obviously I'm surrounded by lots of people here at TechCrunch. I was walking along and then I looked over and I went, holy cow, it's Myriam Joire. How's it going, Tanker?
Oh, how's it going?
I'm doing awesome. It's great to see you here.
Hi everyone. Well, I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
How can I miss Disrupt?
Disrupt is just full of like really interesting, cool, kind of nerdy ideas that hopefully someday turn into a business.
It's cool, but I do think there's a bit of a lack of innovation, and so it makes our jobs difficult. But that's why we're here, to distill it down into something you guys are going to enjoy.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I enjoyed almost immediately, especially when I looked up and saw the poster for it, was NextPack. This is the modular, not a modular phone. It looks like a modular phone, but it's more like a modular phone case.
It's like the Project Aura of cases. I mean, I think it's a cool idea. Basically, it's a case for iPhone and Samsung Galaxies right now. I think they might have other devices where, it creates a backbone on the phone and you can mount some modules. And it's very much like what Aura has shown us, right? They have a bunch of different sensors, like environmental sensors and extra buttons and a bunch of other stuff you can put on. And then I suppose there's an app to support all that.
Yes.
And it plugs into the USB, into the Lightning port.
Yeah, no, they have the app running on both iOS and Android that the second you kind of plug those in, those hot swappable kind of components. So you could, decide while your phone is still on, I really do need this environmental sensor, if that's the thing you actually need. Pop it in, the software senses that and kicks you right in and you can use it. Or speakers, external speakers, whatever the case may be.
Battery packs and a bunch of stuff. I want to see them do cameras, it'd be kind of cool. Like do a stereo camera or something, put two of them, you get stereo. Yep. I don't know. I think it's cool. It's a good idea. I think for those of us who like tinkering, that's what we loved about Aura, right? Aura was always going to be a niche thing. I don't see the mainstream adopting something like that. But at the same time, I thought it was cool, and I think people like us would dig it. And now this is kind of turning Aura into something that, might work out to be compatible with our existing phones, which is not a bad idea.
What's another really cool thing you saw?
I don't know, the Dog PC. You want to talk about it?
Let's talk about Dog PC, because when I went there, they were away from the booth. I couldn't check it out, but I was intrigued by the idea of a PC built for pets.
It's like this triangular box, and it's to entertain your pet while you're not around. The idea being that your dog either sleeps or waits for you patiently. And so this is like, they can play Candy Crush. I don't know if you saw. They're pawing at the screen, and then if they succeed, they get rewarded with like a little kibble coming out of the side of the machine. So I guess, you know, I don't know. And you remotely, there's an app, so it's got a webcam on it, and you can see your dog and talk to it. And like the app lets you issue orders like sit, and like you can pre-record them, so you don't even have to sit. You just tap the button, sit, sit, sit,
man.
and then you can talk, of course.
Do we need our pets as enthralled with technology as we already are?
I think it's goofy, but I was excited because it's fun, because it's quirky, and I think this is the thing for me that I like to come to Disrupt, to find the quirky stuff.
Yeah.
You and I love music, though.
Yes.
And I know you saw this thing outside the event, but there's a similar thing here at Taiwan Pavilion as well called Lyra, which is like a VR thing where it lets you create music, and it's amazing. And I know you're like in a band.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a music guy, but it sounds to me, and I wanted to go check out Lyra, but I also spent some time with Soundspace.
Yeah.
I walked out of the building. We went over to another place for about half an hour and got to get a hands-on demo. I was able to put the HTC Vive on and create live electronic music in a performance way with the HTC Vive in this really unique kind of user interface. Very, you pick it up and you know exactly what to do. You know, it's very intuitive. It really makes you wonder what the future of kind of music technology is when we throw out the confines of the room we go into with our equipment and we end up going into our virtual room with all sorts of equipment that'll let you manipulate sound in ways you've never manipulated sound before.
Sure.
All right, Leo, that's TechCrunch Disrupt in a nutshell. Obviously, we have a lot more to check out, so we're going to get back to it. But I know you've got more show to do, so back to you.
Jason Howell, Myriam Joire, Tank Girl, always great to see them. By the way, you know that Nextpack modular case? I bought that on Kickstarter, paid for it in May 2015 for $109. It was supposed to come January 2016. I'm glad to see that it exists. I have not seen one. The sad thing is, it was for, when I ordered it, the phone I had at the time, an iPhone 6, a Samsung Galaxy S5. I don't have those phones anymore. So I'm gonna get a nice $109 case for a phone I don't even have. Maybe they'll let me trade it in for one that actually works.
Maybe.
Here's something that was on Indiegogo that is real.
And that
You're gonna
works.
get it soon, and not only that, it works. Han Jin is with us. He's the CEO of Lucid VR. We try to do all camera stuff for you.
Good, thank you.
And this is really cool. We've played with, in fact, this is the Sony 360. I have a Theta cam.
Yep.
But all of these, and even the Ozo, the $60,000 Nokia camera,
The Alex cam, yeah.
the Alex camera. The only camera, I mean, only Alex could afford it.
Yeah.
This is 360 degrees. So when you look at video from these, you put on your Gear VR or your cardboard. You can look in front of you. You can look left, right, and you can always turn all the way around. You see everything.
Right.
Han Jin, you didn't do that.
No, I believe in 180 3D.
So instead of looking all the way around, I just see what's in front of me.
The same way like your eyes would see it, right?
Yeah.
You have peripheral vision and you have true depth.
Well, and I was thinking about it. If you're watching a movie or at a play, you don't look to see who's sitting behind you. You don't care.
That's true. That's true. And you don't want to have other people in the shot, so you can actually control the frame you're capturing.
Well, that's a very good point too.
So would this be like specifically for, okay, I want to create a cinematic 360 or 180 experience?
That's correct.
Whereas you'd use 360 if you want to put a camera in the scene and have someone feel like they're there. Like telepresence kind of thing. Like you're at a concert and you can look and see the people dancing behind you.
I have
and
video.
the
You want to
performer.
see? Here's some video. This is the Lucid app. So this is the 2D experience, right?
That's correct. The 2D experience on 180, you see the black part separating
Right.
the video, and then you can move in the 180.
So that's the
space
edge
itself.
right
That's
there.
correct. That's the
and
edge.
this is the left edge. But that's all you care about. You want to see the concert.
You want to see what's going on in the front.
Yeah, that's the more human. And you still have an immersive experience because just like
That's correct.
when you're there.
And you know what's in the back? That's actually me. That would be a selfie looking at me
Right.
while
Yes.
filming.
You should.
Nobody wants to see that.
Now I can switch over in the software. And by the way, this is going to be supported fully by Facebook. Will YouTube also support it?
Yes, YouTube and Facebook, you can post it with one click with the app.
So it's
Right
just
now?
like the three. Go ahead. Right
Is
now?
it supported now or
Yes.
is it coming?
No, it's
So
supported
in
now.
effect, what they're
Yes,
getting
that
is
correct.
similar to the 360 video they support.
That's correct.
So it doesn't really matter. Now this you'd be wearing a Google Cardboard or a Gear VR,
That's
that kind of thing.
That's correct, yes.
And you still, and by the way, the accelerometer in the phone is letting me turn left and right or look up and down.
Yes.
And what phone are you using, Leo?
This is, I think this is somebody told me it's a new iPhone.
Okay.
Okay,
got
just
it.
I don't
So
know.
it works on the new iPhone.
I can't tell. It looks exactly the same. So, show us this. This is the Lucid VR.
So that's a Lucid Cam. You can expand it, you know.
I like that. I like also that it's more like a camera. Like
Yeah.
a,
It is.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, the user experience is the same like other cameras before, and then you just point and shoot it, and everything what's in front of the camera will be captured in 3D. So, like for example, if I capture now, and it captures everyone here except me.
Great. Yeah.
Which you don't want to see.
Yes, or
right?
us. That's
Yeah.
correct. That's correct.
And is it do stills and video or just video?
Stills and video.
Oh, it does stills too?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So stills we do at 4K, video we do at 2K, 60 frames a second.
Well, and that's
good.
another issue with cameras like this and the Theta Cam is you can't get enough resolution.
No,
right? So,
yeah, it's like a punch out of a 1080 frame.
right. So when
Yeah,
you actually zoom in or look at it, it's fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this would be higher quality.
That's correct.
Thank you for doing that.
Very cool. So there's an HDMI port on that, which means what? I can stream it?
Yes. So if you see down here, you have a micro SD expansion.
Okay.
You have HDMI port. You can plug that into a computer,
there.
and then you can actually stream it anywhere you want.
And by the way, very important, a tripod mount as well.
That's
So,
correct. That's
yeah.
most important.
Yeah,
It is.
hand-holding immersive video can make people really queasy.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, it's possible because of the form factor, you could probably hold that fairly steady.
You can,
Right,
you can,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So you don't need a mount to hold it this way
Right,
or whatever.
right.
You just hold it like a normal phone, like, you know. And what we have also done is like, you know, we can actually combine it with a mobile phone.
Right.
Because in the back we don't have a screen. And so
Oh, look at that!
Oh.
it's just, you
So,
know,
and now
point
I'm using the
shoot.
Lucid VR app, and I can see what I'm seeing.
That's correct.
So you have, in effect, added a viewfinder.
And it's connected through Wi-Fi?
Correct.
Okay.
Through Wi-Fi directly connected, live streaming here, you can see what you are capturing. One click and you are done.
Hun, what about power on this? Can you power it through an external battery through the micro USB port?
Yes, that's actually what I've been doing all the way. I have an external battery in my bag, and if you want to film longer than like 1.5 hours or 2 hours, then you can plug that in, and it can.
It will
you know,
keep going, not just for
going.
charging. You can actually power it while you're shooting with it.
Exactly. Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
And so if it does it live, you don't. Then if you don't need stitching software, right? I mean,
No, we don't need stitching.
because the Ozo, there's like you process it for days before you get a video that you can share. I
I've never
wanna
even
share
been in
live.
the same room with an
Will it
Ozo.
work with Facebook Live? Can I stream live?
We haven't worked on that yet, but in the future, for
In
sure.
theory,
yes.
sure,
Yes,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So this was a Indiegogo last year. You raised
That's correct.
$100,000 plus.
Yes, that's correct.
You're now getting close to ship date.
Yes.
When is it going to come out?
By end of this year.
Okay.
Right now, and we are moving to mass production very fast. We raised actually 2.1 million this round.
What?
Yes.
From
and-
VCs?
Yes.
2.1.
For
Look
seed,
at that.
yeah.
Congratulations.
So had you made hardware before, hon?
Yes, I worked in the hardware industry for a long time.
Because I have to say, that's one thing that often happens, and I think the next pack is a good example. People with great ideas and the best of intentions then run up against, oh, but you have to make it. You have to go to China, you have to
Right.
work with the Chinese factories, prototyping. It's tough.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So having a little expertise in that actually gives me some confidence that you know what you're doing. And I have to say, is this a prototype or is this a
that's
finished?
that's a prototype
It
right
looks
now.
really good.
And when are they shipping?
And we are shipping by end of this year.
Okay.
this
Can I
year?
order it now?
Yes, so you can
Okay.
pre-order right now on
How much?
on the website for $3.99.
All right.
Not bad. Order
That's
two,
great.
Leo.
$3.99 right now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's maybe
correct.
3.
Oh, look at that. And does this mount come with it?
Yes, so we have a mount which can put 3 of them together. So if in case you want to do 360 3D,
Oh, very cool.
And,
Of course you
know,
do.
you know, because 180, you know, you can scale up, right? You don't need to
Sure.
have a huge.
And it's still less than the Ozo by about $59,000.
Yeah, buy about a house. Buy about a house. Yeah. What's next? What's the next accessory that's going to come out of you guys?
So we are working on this accessory. We worked.
I love that, yeah.
We worked on the waterproof case.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
everyone
So I can
wants
take it
to
under
do-
your water with me.
Exactly,
Very
exactly.
well.
Up to 12 meters of
Right.
depth, and then you can film some turtles.
Yeah, and your phone is
that's-
waterproof. So take everything underwater now.
I'm not
Yes.
completely sold yet on 360 immersive video. I'm not completely sold on VR. I feel like that might have been overhyped. But I have to say, the idea of putting on a Google Cardboard and being in an environment that I am sold on.
Yeah.
I think that really is exciting.
I think that is that
because
that has
Facebook and YouTube
so many
support it.
applications. Yeah, so many from just think like therapy. If you can meet with a therapist in New York and
Right.
you're in
You feel
California
like you're
with
there.
this, and he's
Yeah.
you're both behind
Right.
these devices.
Right.
You're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
That's
In fact, we've seen people do that even in post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Mm.
We actually had a segment on that a couple of weeks ago. Right? Was it this show? No? Maybe I was watching TV. Anyway.
I think you were dreaming.
Sure wasn't this show. Maybe I was dreaming, but I've seen them do that with yes, it was on this show. All right. Anyway, I've seen for post-traumatic stress and other things. It's actually could be very useful.
Totally.
This kind of thing.
Yep.
Well, Hanjin, thank you so much.
Thank you
Lucid
so much.
VR. What's the website?
LucidCam.com.
LucidCam.com. You already have the iPhone app out.
We do.
Which
we
is
do.
fantastic.
So we can download that now.
So you
Yeah.
can test it out. You can see some of the videos, and
That's nice. So you can actually try it.
yes, you
Hey,
can
that's
try
great. That's free on the iOS store only, though, right?
it. No, Android.
Android too?
Yes, we are supporting Android as well.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you
All
doing
right,
that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You're going to be moved in a moment. Frederick is going to show us how to move and not move.
I like
right?
to move it. Move it.
Move it. He likes to move it. But before we do that, I want to tell you about Rocket Mortgage. Talk about moving the mortgage industry. If it's time to buy a home or refi, look, anybody watching this show is technically literate, right? You're the digerati. The last thing you want to do is get a box of papers together, dig through the attic and stuff, bring this box of papers to some guy, some mortgage broker who practically is like Bob Cratchit with a little green visor and sleeve garters and a quilt. Well, I'm ready to write you. That's crazy. Rocket Mortgage is from Quicken Loans, the #1, the best mortgage company in the whole United States. And they've made a product just for you, the Digerati, a product that is online 100%. You can even do it from your iPhone, your Android phone, your tablet. You don't have to get up from the couch. Submit your pay stubs and your bank statements with a touch of a button. And because, well, computers, you'll get approved in minutes for a solution that is customized for you, for your financial situation. Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans. If you're looking to refi, if you're looking to buy a house, in this video, they show a couple looking at a house and beating out the other couple because they apply for the loan there at the house. That's how fast it is. QuickenLoans.com/NSS. Of course, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030. Let's get to the 21st century. Enough of this Bob Cratchit stuff. Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans. Go to QuickenLoans.com/NSS. From Quicken Loans, and we thank Quicken Loans so much for their
Approved.
support.
Awesome. No.
Now you can buy the studio.
I could. I did. All right.
Yes, you bought it. Good. Turn it into a brewery. I don't mind. We'll move again.
I'm ending your
We're
lease
getting
next
good
month.
at it now. Frederick Van Johnson, my great friend and
Yes.
co-host of the show, the host of This Week in Photography.
Yes.
Brilliant photographer, too.
Thank you.
In fact, if you look at this image, that is a great image. You shot this.
I did. This was a fun image. And the interesting thing about this, so this is a cinematograph. And a cinematograph is essentially a photograph that has a bit of motion in there
Right.
to tell a story.
This has been around for a while. I remember
It has
taking a
forever.
picture of beer and the bubbles rising and everything else is static.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of fun because you look at the picture, it looks like a still, and then you go, wait a minute.
Yep.
The tea is pouring.
Yep.
And that's kind of
exactly.
cool.
Yep. Exactly.
But that's not what you're here to show us.
No, well, I want to show you, I want to set the stage because there's a new kid in town and it's called Plotograph.
Okay.
It is not a replacement for cinematograph. So the difference is a cinematograph is basically a clip of video. This was 4K video. So a clip of 4K video that you freeze and then animate, and now it's over. And you animate part of it.
So I'm actually watching a video.
You're watching a
It
video.
looks like a still, but
It
I'm
looks like a
actually
still.
watching a video.
Exactly. So the cinemagraphs are good for these kinds of situations, right? Like this one, for example.
Oh,
this
that's
was in
so cool.
This was in that same castle. It's a
that's so
frame
cool.
of video, but
Gosh,
it
you're a great
loops.
photographer.
It loops the rocking horse. I wanted to do something creepy. It was
Now, the disadvantage is you can't just put that up. You have to put it up as a video. You can't just put it in anywhere that
But
a
that's the
still
same
would go.
disadvantage with a plotograph.
Okay.
Because they're
still
essentially
videos.
They're videos. You have videos motion.
You wouldn't do like an animated GIF or something.
No, you could, but you wouldn't. So you want this
That's
level of
very low
quality. If I wanted to just take that little rocking horse and send it to somebody, through messages in iOS 10, I could do that.
Okay.
But
want
that's
high
not.
quality.
If you want to create art, you're going to use something a little bit more high quality.
So this is 4K?
This was another 4K frame shot with a GH4 in Ione, California at the Preston Castle.
So this is a program called Cinemagraph Pro.
Correct, from
but
this
there are
company.
lots of Cinemagraph
Totally,
programs
there's a
out there.
bunch of them. This one makes it really easy because you basically throw a 4K video in there and paint over what you want to move. That's it.
So in the video, she's moving, the fog is moving, but what you've done is you've painted and said, don't let that stuff move, just let the rocking horse
and
move.
if you look close here, I said let the rocking horse move.
the shadows
and the shadow.
That's very
I
cool.
want just to sell the illusion. I could have done layers. I could have brought it into Premiere or Final Cut and added a fog layer in there and made it more interesting that way too. But the thing with plotographs and that's these guys. So plotographs, and if you've seen these, right? From Trey. Trey's been posting these a lot.
Trey's posted a number of them, Trey Ratcliffe, on Facebook and other places. I have no idea how he makes them.
The founder and the owner of this, his name is Plota. So his last name is Plota. So these are
it's
plotographs.
Plota's graphs.
So if you look at these guys, these are crazy.
Wow.
So what you're looking at, though, compared to what I was showing you,
I'm tripping on acid.
keep
No,
it over
seriously.
there.
I mean, this is like a trip, man.
It is. It's crazy. But when you look at these compared to what I showed you from the castle,
What's
these
the
were
difference?
never video.
Those are stills.
These are stills that these artists
do you
applied animation to in post, which means your entire library of photographs are now able to be
that's a
animated.
big difference. But I mean, do you have
Calm
to
down.
have
Find
like
your words,
20,
Leo.
Do you have to have like 20 images? I mean, how does
No.
it know?
It's one image. It's one image, and then like this is a Trey Ratcliffe image.
That's
here.
Trey. I recognize
Yeah. So Trey went in and said, "Yeah,
What's moving?
I want
Nothing.
these things in the legs to animate up, looking like veins.
Yeah.
You know, like this wave here. You could say, yeah, I want the waves to move.
Yeah, but
up.
there's no data. Where are you? How are you?
There's this new thing out, Leo, called computers. They can
Yeah,
do
but the computer
some
doesn't know
amazing-
what's.
Yes, it does. So look at this.
All right, you better show me how you do
This is what it looks like. So
that's a still. That's it. That's all you need. You don't
this
need
is
another
a
one.
still. I took this in Paris at the Louvre, and it is.
Oh yeah, that's the pyramid out.
This is a
front.
pyramid. I just took a weird angle of it, and I said, and this was me testing it. I said, let me see if I can make the clouds move. So if you look in here, I put these control points and that say,
Kind of like a Bezier curve tool.
Exactly.
Okay.
And all you say, I want this thing to move in that direction. I want this thing to move in that direction. And you see this line here? I've put a mask that says,
Don't move that.
Don't move that, and don't create any animation
Now,
over
could
this
I make
line.
the clouds in the reflection?
You could, but it's going to get tricky, right? Because there's a lot of geometry in there.
Yeah.
that
The
would
lines
move.
might move too.
Yeah, so a special, you hit it right on the head. It's a particular kind of image that makes a good photograph, and that's one with
Water,
high frequency
clouds,
like these.
graph.
See, this is like fractals in the water, in this hay grass here. There's
so you have to
random
experiment
patterns,
a little bit with it.
which is fun. It is fun to do that.
But this isn't software. This is a website.
It is a cloud-based service that you have to pay, and you get a subscription to, and then
Mr. Plota, not such a dummy.
No, very, very smart. And they've got, you see the clients they have in there. There's like, they've got lots of crazy clients that, see, this is a good image. So see, this is an example of them putting a mesh on that wall.
So what's going to happen? The wallpaper is going to
They're going to animate that wall. Yeah.
Ew.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
And I don't think you can.
How much is this really expensive?
It's $300 and something bucks to get into it. Yeah. So,
Look at that, though. That is so cool.
Yeah. I think that's a marketing move, the pricing it and making it less accessible to everyone, because now it pushes it up to the high end of the spectrum.
You don't see photographs everywhere.
Right.
So then you put those on Facebook, and but you're uploading a video.
It's a video. It is a video.
So Facebook will display it as a video.
Exactly.
People will think it's a still.
Mm-hmm. And you can loop these things. So on Instagram, you can loop, right? So you can make a loop, and it'll go forever, thus selling the illusion of what's happening.
He's smart, because you're right. If it were $20, I'd buy it, and I'd be using it, and it wouldn't be special anymore.
Yeah, and you devalue it, and people would be doing animations of their cats and things like that. Putting it up here, now it's these high-end professional photographers. And, I would imagine down the line, they'll say, yeah, let's make this available to more people, and they'll make a photograph.
Can you finish that one you started and show us how long does it take
to render?
Basically, you're uploading it, and it downloads it?
Yeah, you upload it, then you hit this play button. After you spend your time using the control points and these tools over here and masking out what you don't want to move.
Yeah.
And then you hit the play button, you can preview it, and it adds animation in there. Just like that. So
Wait a minute, that was it? That's all it took?
That's all it took.
That's nice because you don't know what the effect's going to be until you try it, and so you do want this kind of ability
Which is like
to iterate.
the gamification of image animation.
You need to iterate until you get it just so.
Which is so cool because you travel a lot, so you can go back through your library and say, hey, we were in Hawaii.
Right.
I want to make that ocean move on that crazy beach we were sitting on. You can make it move now.
Just one more thing I'll never do. Well, only because I come back with 6,000 photos and I go, whew, and I just put it on the drive and I go, I hope someday somebody looks at these, and that's it.
Yeah, but thank goodness you took those batteries and the chargers and all the cameras and the...
You know, every once in a while I'll go back and look. I'll go through my Lightroom, which now has 50,000 images in it. Wow. And I'll see something, I go, oh, that's really great. I really should, retouch it, post it. But it's still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's nice to have. It's like, I think it's wonderful to take pictures.
Yeah.
Because
you're documenting your life.
Yeah, and you don't realize till later that you really want to remember that moment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a lot
of pictures. Your picture count goes up, memory cells go down.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy in the end.
When I'm old, they just bring me those pictures and say, do you remember this? I go,
I'm like, who's that?
No, who are you? Who am I?
Yeah.
When's soup? My soup's moving. No, that's a plotograph, Leo.
Oh, man.
I like this a lot.
You paint a
In
bleak
fact,
picture.
I'm almost tempted to spend that money. $300 is a lot.
It's
look at that.
Look at that. See, and you do something like this, and people that are on your Instagram feed cannot do this.
Or they say I shouldn't have had those mushrooms earlier today. that mushroom soup must have been.
Yeah, look at that.
I love these effects.
Isn't that crazy?
So I get what you're saying. It has no more information, so it can only kind of take what it already knows and move it.
And apply some smart meshes because you're putting a mesh on there and you're defining a vector of what direction you want the pixels to move.
So show me the clouds again. So where's the new cloud coming from?
It's making them.
It's making clouds.
It's making clouds in here, yeah.
Wow.
That's what it's doing.
Oh, so the bottom actually never ends up disappearing. It's just
It's going off the top of the screen, and I've masked this. And this was a sloppy job, too. I just quickly did this. Here's another one.
I wasn't going to say anything, but...
So
that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this. So if we go back...
Plotagraph, Pro.com.
Yeah, so here's another one. So just a really quick job, put a mask on this because I don't want this to move.
But you'd like the clouds to move?
But I like the clouds to move.
And you can make the water move too if you
Which I did in another example, yeah. I mean, you click
Water's really good for this.
And here's an example of what happens if you put too many control points in here, I think. So
it's stymied.
Yeah, because the whole thing with animation is you don't want it to look like you did it.
Right.
You want it to look natural.
It's doing a lot of work.
Yeah, you see this?
And
you see the repeated?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's too much, but you don't have to do that. So you could put just a couple of control points in there and rock and roll.
I really like this.
You need to buy this, Leo.
Wow, really cool. You got a new show on the TWIP network.
I do.
So you do This Week in Photography.
Yeah, we have 8 shows.
There's All About the Gear.
Yep.
I'm into gear. So
TWIP Weddings, All About the Gear, Street Focus.
So you're doing like niches.
Genres.
Yeah, that's neat. So what's the new one?
Guess. Mobile phones. Mobile phone photography.
Now I understand why you're pitching
You
me
see how it all comes together?
Now I get it.
Yes.
So that's cool. Who's going to do that?
It's hosted by me and my good friend Giulio Sciorio.
And it won't just be iPhones.
It's anything mobile, including DxO1s, iPhones, Androids, anything. Yeah.
Neat.
It'll be at Pocket
Are you going to play with the DxO1? You're going to show me something new about
Yeah,
that.
do you want to see it?
Not right now.
You don't want me to pull it out?
No, but you can whip it out in a second.
Okay.
But first, this is a little scary.
Uh-oh.
We had a hacker in here yesterday. Did you count the silverware after Mobix left?
Can I unplug now?
Yeah, you might want to. Father Robert Ballecer brought in a guy named Rob Fuller. You know, or may have heard of him as MUBIX Mubix. And he demonstrated a very intriguing hash for us. We thought we would show you, Robert.
Thanks, Leo. Now, our audience may have heard about a new attack on Macs and PCs that allows attackers to walk away with authenticated hashes. Well, we could talk about the rumors, but I thought we should go to the source. I'm speaking with Rob Fuller, known as Mubix in security circles. He's the man who came up with this idea of using USB to attack your computer. Now, Rob, there's a lot of misinformation about what this attack does and does not do. Right. Some people say you plug in a USB stick and suddenly I can get into your computer. That's not actually true.
Right.
What does it do?
So basically it gives you a hashed or network authentication from a bunch of different services that Windows and Macs are always looking for whenever they're on a network.
Okay, so show me how it works. If I were to have this, which is a USB armory, which is actually a computer on a USB stick,
right.
It can pretend to be any device I want it to be. It could be a keyboard, it could be a mouse, or in this particular case, it's pretending to be an Ethernet adapter. What do I do with this?
Well, we plug it into your computer.
No, let's not do that. Let's plug it into your computer.
All right, fine. So we plug it in. Hopefully I can figure out how that goes. It then gets power from the USB and starts to boot up, just like a normal computer would. And you see, as soon as this light goes red, all right.
Okay, so that's the armory has booted up. So what it's doing right now is it's pretending to be an Ethernet adapter. And what is the computer giving to it?
So nothing quite yet. It's waiting. The computer then says, "Oh, I'm a new device. I'm going to connect and see that it's Ethernet, and then it's going to get DHCP." Oh, it already
there
finished.
we go. So that was the entire attack.
Yeah, that was it.
So what's now contained within this drive?
So the NTLM hash of the password that I'm using for proxy authentication on the Mac, or there's a bunch of different things that the Mac can do, but basically the hashed version of the password. With
all right. Can you show me? Is there a way to show me what's actually stored on the on the logs?
Sure. One sec.
Okay.
All right. So now that I have it back at home or whatever, I can just look inside the file, the proxy authentication or the NTLM other files that I've captured so far. It has all the authentication that I have in there. Hit enter, see all the authentication that's happened since I've plugged it in. So I plugged it into multiple places and it worked. And I have the NTLM v2 in this particular case that I can take to any cracking tool like Hashcat or John and hopefully get the password out of it.
Right. And I could collect this information previously anytime I was running a man-in-the-middle attack. But what makes this interesting to folk is that it's a piece of hardware. So I could give it to someone who is not security savvy, like the cleaning woman who goes computer to computer and collects all these credentials. Now, those can be used at your leisure, right? Because now it's on hardware, I can take it home, I could run it on my custom hardware to crack all the hashes that are in there.
Right.
Oh, okay. So that's actually kind of scary. What are the mitigation strategies for this, Rob?
Yeah, so there's not really many. So it's using a feature of, the OS or Mac, or I'm sorry, Windows or Mac OS of the traffic that it normally does and the trust that it implicitly has for network connections it's on. So there really isn't too many solutions to in the case of the cleaning lady, make sure you log out. In the case of, because this is NTLM v1 or v2 passwords, having a better password, longer password, is one mitigation so that someone can't crack it, because that's the only way they're going to use it. Well, the V2 stuff is different, or V1 stuff is different, but we can go into that later. Not really anything you can do.
Yeah. Now, if you want to find a more in-depth discussion of this, make sure to check out This Week in Enterprise Tech or Know How. We've got the segment on both of them, the longer 15-minute version. But if they wanted to find out more about you, more about the work you do with Hack5, more about the seminars that you teach on security, where can they go? Room362.com
is where I have my blog and have been there for a while. At Mobix on Twitter, and Metasploitminute.com, and Hack5 is where I do my shows.
Mubix, thank you very much for coming in. I'm going to go drop my packets. Now, Leo, back to you.
Wow. Now, but very important, getting a hash is not the same as getting a password.
It's not.
So having a good, strong password makes it much harder for them to reverse engineer the hash. Two,
define hash for,
so
carbon-based
usually when
life
you store passwords, you don't store them in the clear. Like
Yeah.
if your password is monkey123, as mine is,
Yeah.
you don't want to store
Mine
that.
is password.
Right. You don't want to store that in a file that somebody could get access to and say, oh, my password's password. You hash it, which means, there's a variety of ways of hashing, but essentially combining mathematically your password with some other data to make it obscure. Now, of course, a hash only works if it's reversible.
Yes.
But generally speaking, just like encryption, it's reversible only if you have the proper key.
Right.
The problem with many hashes is that they were predictable in their results. So you could make what's called a rainbow table, and you could reverse hashes. If your password is password, we know what that, with a hash, what that hashed value will be.
Yeah.
You start seeing that a lot.
But you need a lookup table along with the hashes in order to figure out what the passwords
It's not trivial, but it's totally doable unless your password's not monkey123 or password, not a common password, but something truly long, unmemorable, random. Then you're not going to see that password again in the database that you've downloaded. It's going to be much harder to figure out what it is. The second point I would make is anytime somebody has physical access to your hardware, you're screwed.
Pretty much, yeah.
So don't let somebody stick his USB drive in your computer.
Right, right.
That's just not safe.
If someone sends you a USB drive in the mail saying, hey, here's a free gift,
Somebody
don't put it in
called
your
the radio
computer.
show and said, I found a USB-A drive as I was walking down the street. Can I use that? And I said, absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah.
Only
Same with those trade show USB sticks.
Same
that you
thing.
get, don't use.
Same thing.
Yeah.
USB drives are inherently dangerous because it's giving somebody access to your computer. So don't, any attack where somebody has physical access to your machine is always going to be a risky thing. That's a clever device, that USB Armory, because it can impersonate other kinds of devices, including a network adapter.
Not good.
Very cool. By the way, Padre's going to be back next week along with Patrick Norton to do the show.
Cool.
So if you want to ask them a question or you want to watch next week, I'm going to be on vacation. That's going to be a great show for you. Now, you brought the DxO camera. I think this is a good time for us to take a look.
Yeah.
This is not the first time we've seen one of these.
I think I brought this a long time ago.
I think you
didn't
did. This is a lightning port camera that attaches to an iPhone.
It does, but I'm not going to let you put it in your iPhone because...
You have learned a good lesson. I tried.
I'm going to keep an air gap between this.
Very smart, very smart.
But no, they have a little bug that they're dealing with right now. It should be solved soon. That doesn't work with iOS 10.1.
So the theory is now you've got a better lens, a bigger sensor.
That's the idea.
More capability. And you've
That's a
added
1-inch sensor in there versus the small sensor that's in the
and it
iPhone.
just pops out. And you've
Yeah,
added
it's like
it.
this. Yeah, so you open the lens and that guy pops out.
And it just, and then, so it's not huge. It just hangs off your iPhone. Alex Lindsay also showed us these.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. How much?
That's about $500.
Is it as good as a $500 point and shoot?
It's a 1-inch sensor from Sony.
Oh, that's big.
So it's going to be as good as a point and shoot.
So it's kind of like an RX100 or something similar.
With the screen though. So now you have,
a beautiful viewfinder.
Exactly.
F1.8, 20 megapixels. It shoots RAW. That's nice.
Yeah, the issue with these are great. So these are, I think, from a professional standpoint, I put these in the category of this is for the pro photographer that, like you, say you're going to Russia, you don't want to take a point and shoot out with you to dinner. You can take this with you, still get great
your
shots.
iPhone.
But it's competing now with these guys.
I have to say.
It's competing with the
starting
iPhone.
to.
However, they
And
have some cool
action
accessories
cameras.
though for these now.
So tell me what's new in the DX.
So this is cool. I think they did a really good thing. So they launched this last year.
I remember.
This doesn't change. This hasn't changed
Hardware's
with this
the
new.
same.
It's exactly the same, but they shipped it with a Wi-Fi chip built into it. But they didn't turn it on. It was a sleeper chip.
Oh.
So they turned it on with this latest 2.0 update. Now you can connect to it. You can tether to it with your iPhone, or you can, the cool thing I think is really cool, you can connect this guy to your local Wi-Fi network and connect to it through your network with your phone. So this can be in another room, and you can be taking pictures through the network.
So
yeah, now.
So the lightning port is basically obsoleted by that, right?
No, it's in addition to. So now if you want to plug it in and shoot like a normal camera.
Is it better somehow?
No, it's just a different option to shoot with. So you could put it on a tripod stand with their new tripod stand adapter and set this thing up somewhere and take photos.
Does it also mean that I can do it with another, like not an iPhone, but with an Android phone?
No.
Via Wi-Fi? No, you still need an iPhone.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that is a great question. I don't know if you could
They
connect
just have to make the software for the...
Yeah. So they launched this thing, and now they have...
I love it when they have hidden features that they didn't turn on.
I know.
Yeah.
But they came out with a bunch of accessories that answered questions. My biggest problem was that. No tripods socket on that camera, so they came out with this little thing, clamps to the bottom. Now you can put it on a tripod.
So you can now mount it on a tripod.
And they came out with different mounts, so you can put different lenses or different filters on there, like these neutral density,
Well, they're really building a whole system, aren't they?
A whole little ecosystem.
Yeah.
And
Would you prefer that to an RX100 or something like that? What's that?
That's underwater housing.
Yeah, but what about your phone?
Wi-Fi.
Oh, right.
You remember that? We just talked
Wi-Fi. So this, you don't keep the phone attached via lightning, but you bring this
and they
down.
put a little GoPro adapter on the bottom too, just to snub the GoPro people.
Clever. So I could even use my GoPro mounts.
Yeah, GoPro mounts.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think they did a good job. Their marketing department has their work cut out for them, competing against the dual camera in the iPhone.
Well, now
and
we
even
know.
the iPhone 6s Plus is great too with image stabilization.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a great camera. It is definitely a great camera. They have their work cut out for marketing wise.
I have a feeling we'll hear more about this on Pocket Shooters.
I think you will.
Yes.
Yes.
Where can people find Pocket Shooters?
Pocketshooters.com.
So you get a domain name for each show. That's smart.
Yeah.
Instead of going to twip.com for everything.
Of course.
Pocket Shooters.
Because that way I can break it off later if I want to.
Oh, break it off. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Stick it in and break it off. That's my motto.
That is not the Pocket Shooters
It's not
motto.
the motto? No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. It is mastering mobile photography.
How would you like to do a call for help?
I'll take a call for help.
All right, let's do it.
In fact, I wanted to issue one.
On the line from Vacaville, California, just up the road a piece, Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hey there, guys.
Hey.
Nice to see you. Why does you've got a house, red, white, and blue house of Run. What's that?
Run.
What's that?
Oh, it's my other geeking out. It's my track and field geeking out.
Oh, neat.
Oh.
It's a great podcast. A bunch of nice guys. Sort of like you guys, actually, but in a different area of geekdom.
Yeah, you don't see me running.
I'm not even
You don't see
touching
me
that.
anymore either. Those were in the days.
So what can I do for you, Rob? What can we do for you?
I'm hoping you can help me get a new camera.
Uh-oh.
And I've got this, I don't think it's an unreasonable demand, but I don't know if there's a product out there. You know how adjustable cameras have an exposure fine-tuning dial, and if you want to nail down your depth of field, you go into aperture priority, and it tweaks the shutter speed, and if you want to nail down your motion blur, you go into shutter priority, and it tweaks the aperture. I want to nail down both. And I want that button in the back, or that knob in the back, to adjust the ISO. It doesn't seem unreasonable, but I don't know if there's any product out there that does that.
Oh, that's a great question. Some of the DSLRs, the more professional DSLRs, will allow you to control, lock down your shutter speed and your aperture.
I did that for a long time on the first A7.
Those,
because it had a big chunk.
Yep.
When you release the shutter, and unless your shutter speed was
like a
over
double
60, you'd get a motion blur.
Yeah.
But ever since, the A7 has had that feature, so you actually can set a minimum shutter speed. But I think you can also set a minimum ISO. You could. So what I often do with the A7, and I do this with my Leica Q as well, is I'll set a. I read somewhere a great review of the Leica Q that said, This makes it an even better pocket shooter because all modern cameras now have such high ISO capabilities. You don't have to go below, let's say, 160th.
Absolutely.
And if you set your camera, as I do, at 160th, you're not going to get hand blur. Is that 160th fast enough?
Yeah, that's usually fast enough.
Yeah. So, like, I'm maybe not. Sometimes I take a picture too quickly. I'm not really steady.
Yeah.
But by setting it at a slightly higher shutter speed, I
freeze
suspect that that's what you want to do too, Rob.
Yep.
You freeze it, and then sometimes you want to set aperture as well, because I like the Leica Q is a manual ring, so I set it to usually pretty fast, like 1.4. Actually, I think it's 1.7 is the minimum. No, 1.2. Okay, so I'll set it to 1.2, and then I'll set the minimum frame rate to 60. Then I don't worry. Right.
Yeah.
Or you could do the street shooter. You set it to f8, set it to 60, and then let the ISO handle any amplification you need if it's
So on the
darker or
Sony, you're saying on your Sony, you can use ISO priority.
Effectively, that is ISO priority. It doesn't say it.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, right?
Yeah. If you can lock down the shutter speed and the aperture, and then have it allow you to pick the ISO.
So what I tell people is, there's really three things you can change in a camera to change how much light the sensor's getting.
Yeah.
There's shutter speed, slower shutter speed, more light.
Yep.
But there's side effects to each of these.
Motion.
There's aperture. You can open it up wider, get more light.
Depth
side
of
effects
field.
to that as well, depth of field. Or you could change the ISO. Now that has a side effect too. The
Grain.
higher the ISO, more grain.
Noise. Yes.
But I love the flexibility. So all cameras can't do that?
Not all cameras can do that. Yeah. Mine can't.
Yours can't?
Mine cannot do that. Yep.
You use a Panasonic Lumix.
I use Lumix. Yeah. I can have it go into auto ISO where it will pick the ISO, but I can't lock everything down and manually select it from there.
I very much like being able to set my minimum shutter speed to 1/60th. Even in a dark environment, it's just going to boost ISO. And that gives me a kind of a security that I'm at least going to get, I'm not going to get handshake.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I lose a lot of shots to a little motion blur because I didn't hold it steady.
Yeah, and depending on how much coffee you had that day.
Yeah.
Rob, what are you shooting? What's your subject matter?
Wildlife, landscapes like that. Landscapes, it's not a problem.
Yeah,
but,
so you want to minimize shutter or shake in the landscape shots because you're probably using a longer lens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So
will a Canon or a Nikon allow you to do that?
The high-end DSLRs will have that feature as well. Are you looking to go mirrorless, or you want to go with a DSLR?
I'd love to go mirrorless.
So it looks like Sony might be in your
future. Sony will definitely do that. And they now have quite a large range. I'm trying to think, though, of... so you're shooting... See, birders, for instance, use Nikons because they're so fast at focusing.
Yeah.
Sonys are not notorious for fast focusing,
right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
The autofocus.
Yeah, if you're shooting birds, then DSLR for sure.
Yeah.
The DSLR
Is that
with
true?
the long lens.
So all of the mirrorless are a little slower to focus?
That's relatively speaking. I mean, my cameras focus like that, but like this is definitely not fast enough to catch a hummingbird.
Right.
You know? So yeah, you want the right tool for the right job. And someone is asking what I shoot with. I shoot with a Lumix GX8 and a GX85.
Sonys aren't cheap, but I've become a fan of the Sony A7s.
Yeah, it's a beautiful camera.
They're small. They have a full-size sensor, full-frame sensor.
Yeah.
Great range. Sony, at first, when these came out, had very limited lenses, but now I think a very substantial range of lenses, including the equivalent of the L lens for Canon, the Master G lenses. Yeah. Those are really great.
Yeah,
glass.
It comes down to, there's a lot of variables that go into your choice of camera. Obviously, it's cost, what the subject matter is that you're shooting, and also these days it's weight and how much camera you want to carry.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I shoot Micro Four Thirds, because I like these small, highly capable camera bodies. I can do a lot with them. When you jump up to full frames, the optics change. It's basically physics, right? You have to have a larger lens to cover the surface area of that larger full frame sensor. So, and things get heavier from there.
So I do believe they have ISO priority. They certainly have settings. You should go to a camera shop and actually ask and play with it.
Yep.
But
rent.
You know what? That's a great advice. Because I don't know how fast focus is going to be if it would suit you for shooting wildlife.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely rent. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, I'm just looking if you can, I don't think there's a setting for ISO priority, but I think it gives you, in effect, ISO priority by setting a minimum. You'd have to go to aperture priority, set a minimum shutter speed, then you really are fixing those two, and the only thing it could change is ISO at that point.
You know how we changed ISO in the old days, Leo?
I don't know how.
Change film.
I do remember that.
Get out and shoot the rest of the roll. Shoot the rest of the roll and put another roll in there.
400, baby. Tri-X is your friend.
That was it.
So does this help, Rob? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. I think if I can't find it, the workaround is the minimum priority. The minimum shutter speed thing, so I need to find a camera that does that. Ideally, I think I could sacrifice a little bit on the capture, the focus capture, to get a smaller, like a smaller format and lighten up the weight.
Yeah. I'm a fan of that.
My favorite Micro Four Thirds is the Olympus OMD. Great lightweight camera, and you get all the Micro Four Thirds lenses.
Sure.
I'm just checking to see if they have a minimum shutter speed, because I don't remember, and I have one.
And the Olympus cameras are famous for their image stabilization in body.
Yeah.
The OMD EM5 and 1, I believe, have 5-axis image stabilization.
Yeah.
It's like magic.
Yeah, it's really amazing, isn't it? In fact, Sony borrowed Olympus's 5-axis stabilization for their A7s. Yeah,
borrowed or borrowed with
licensed?
quotes?
No, they're actually using
so they licensed it.
They licensed it. So here's apparently the Olympus does not do that, but here's a surprise. The Nikon D800, which is perhaps some might say, and you're a former Nikon shooter,
I'm
the best
technically
mirror,
still Nikon. I still own them.
that is an amazing camera. That
is,
does have a
yep.
minimum shutter speed capability. So.
Yeah, those are. Every time I pull out the Nikon gear, I still love it because it feels like a tank. It feels like
it weighs like a tank.
It's like you can. It's amazing. I love it, but I like There's what I just feel like carrying that around all day.
It's
compared
too heavy.
to it's like
It's too heavy.
no.
But boy, is that a great camera.
Yeah, it is.
And
beautiful.
of course the D series cameras from Nikon are also superb.
Yep.
But I kind of like this D800. I mean, that's the one I would probably get. Not like the 1D or the D1 or the D4.
That one's not bad either.
Oh, come on. It's just a camera phone. It's not. And by the way, low light is always going to be a problem for these
It's
camera
just
phones.
physics. You can only get so much light on such a small area.
Well, I hope that. Oh, there's another one. Pentax. I would look into Pentax. They make excellent micro
Oh,
Four
right.
Thirds,
Pentax is coming on strong.
And they may well have. What you're looking for is that feature.
Yes.
I mean, maybe ISO priority, that would be the best. But if failing that, the ability to go into aperture priority, so you're fixing the aperture, and then set a minimum shutter speed.
Yeah.
And that would really then, the camera would have to go, okay, I got to change ISO. I got nothing here.
Yeah. And that's going to be for the wildlife stuff you're doing. Landscapes, completely different story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you put it on sticks and you set it for 48 seconds and you go home.
You're done. Yep.
And some of my wildlife is actually my cats.
Oh, forget taking pictures of cats.
Just sedate them and use a longer shutter speed.
The cat is always, all I get ever is the tail. All I ever get is the tail. I
You're
get
using
great
the wrong
cat
sedatives,
tails.
I'm telling you.
Hey, it's great to talk to you, Rob.
It's great talking to you guys. I really enjoy watching you both.
Thank you.
Great,
and
thank you.
We'll give a plug to the House of Run, another great podcast.
Thank you.
Yay! All right. Hey, if you'd like to be on the show next week, as I mentioned, Father Robert Ballecer and Patrick Norton. So get your questions ready. Here's how you ask them.
Need tech help? The new screensavers are here with answers. Email your tech questions to newscreensavers@twit.tv.
Oh, wow, that was kind of cool.
You got skills.
I didn't know we. Is that part of the new studio feature? That's nice.
You pay extra for that?
Sure we do. Mailbag time!
Boom!
Frederick, it's always fun to have you on the
Look
show.
at
Thank
that.
you for coming in. I really appreciate it. And just for you, we had a couple of these left over, and I know how you feel about cameras. So just for you, as a parting gift, a little speedograph.
Look at that thing!
Not too dusty. Isn't that amazing?
That's beautiful.
That's from the old studio. Our set designer, Roger Ambrose. Hi, Roger. He had a fetish. We had dozens of those.
This is going on the TWIP set.
Oh, good. It's yours.
All right. Look
Take
at
it.
That's
And if it
beautiful.
works, let me know.
It's not
Here's a
gonna
question for you. I'll start. This is a question probably for you also. I'm not a good traveler, writes Jim.
Oh, look at that. Should I read this
Or
one?
I'm not a good or often traveler, and I avoid traveling like the plague. For better or for worse, poor guy, I'm going to Hawaii for my son's wedding. Aw, Jim, you have my deepest sympathy. What's the best way to pack, deal with TSA inspections, and travel with high-tech toys like expensive Nikon camera equipment? Thanks for listening, longtime fan from the old screensavers days. Well, first of all, Jim, and I bet you'll agree with me, never, ever, ever pack camera equipment in your checked bag.
Never. Camera equipment, anything expensive.
Laptop?
Anything, my rule of thumb is if you're okay with losing it,
If you want to get rid of it, that's a different.
Then check it.
Partly because
If
bags
it's-
get lost, but also they get mishandled, and fragile equipment does not belong.
Does not belong in there. Yeah, cameras, computers, anything like that, always take it with you and drones, all that stuff.
But then he
Goes on
asks
with
a reasonable question about TSA inspections. You got to carry on. It's okay to carry your camera bag on.
Absolutely.
A lot of people love those Peak bags. You still use a Peak bag?
I do. I have one of the new ones from their latest Kickstarter.
So that's a great. In fact, why don't you get that and show us? Because that would be. You go to Peak Designs.
Look at that thing.
So that's perfect, right? This is the ultimate camera bag. And you're going to put that in the belt.
Yes.
Do you worry about?
No.
The X-ray's not going to hurt anything.
No, those
in
days are over.
Even the film days, it probably, unless it was super high ISO
Exactly.
film.
Yep.
And you got you got a hairbrush in here.
I've got.
This is like your overnighter bag.
There's everything in there.
But is
I've
your
got
camera
everything.
also in
I've
here?
got 2 cameras in there. I've got lenses.
This is what I love on the Peak bags. Is this attachment is
Yep.
really great. It's very easy to open, which is important for a photographer, but also very easy to close.
Yeah.
And you see it's a ladder, so you can make it as tight or as loose as you need to.
You got it.
Which means it's expandable. I really like these.
And I think they designed this so that it's easy to get in if you know how to get into it, but
it's not obvious.
It's not obvious. So if someone sneaks up behind you, they're coming in your bag. You know, you'll feel them before they actually.
Well, and that's another, by the way, tip is if all of your equipment is in a bag like that, it's very easy to steal. And I know photographers, including Trey, who had backpacks. He was on a train in Europe, put it under his seat, gone in seconds. So do not, if you're going to do that, you know what I do? I put my foot.
Same thing.
Do you?
Even in Starbucks, my foot's in there.
It's always through one of the loops on the backpack. That way, if somebody tries to take it,
you'll know.
They're going to take my foot with them
as
well.
Yep. Always be cognizant. You're carrying, depending on where you're traveling,
of dollars.
You're carrying life-changing money right here.
That's right.
Around with you. You know, it's different here in most parts of the U.S. or in many parts of the U.S., but outside of the country, and especially in third world countries, if people see this, it can change their lives just by either taking this or incapacitating you in taking this.
The other thing I look for in a backpack that I'm going to take on as carry-on is this, which is a slot for a laptop that's easily accessed, because you still do have to take those laptops out.
Yep, and that's where I keep
not. But yeah, having the ability to quickly pull out the laptop, put that on the belt separately, very important.
Yeah, with these cameras also, it's important to be able to get to or with these bags, it's important to be able to get to your camera quickly. So this one's a backpack format, and they designed it so that you have it on your back and you swing it around to the front horizontally.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then
your camera's right there.
Open it up,
Look at that.
and there's your camera gear.
That is cool.
But it's also ambidextrous. So if you happen to be left-handed, you can swing it to the other side and open it up. And they've designed it so that it's a pass-through. So the dividers can cut down the middle, so you can put certain kinds of gear on the left side and other kinds of gear on the right side, and then certain things at the top, and then rock and roll.
So the dividers are Velcro, and you can rearrange them for whatever your particular.
Yeah, exactly. And they designed these dividers so that they're kind of like origami. So they can.
This is so thoughtful. I know Trey works with them, and it's so thoughtful the way they've figured this out.
They put a lot of thought into this bag. It's I've traveled around with it. The thing about this backpack though, because you have the messenger bag too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about the differences between these are, you're not going to find one holy grail bag that's going to be good in every situation. Right. If you're on a photo walk or you're hiking or traveling, this one's perfect. But sometimes you want to, be a little bit more classy.
Carry a smaller bag.
Yeah, you want a smaller one, or you want a messenger style bag, and it's good for certain situations. There's no one bag that's going to work everywhere.
Right. The other thing I always do is I don't want to have to empty my pockets and put everything on the conveyor belt, and you really can't have any metal in your pockets.
Right. So
I wear a Scott E vest, which has 41 pockets. There are other manufacturers, but I've always used Scott E vest. So I have a vest. It looks like a photographer's vest. In fact, I know now why photographers wear these vests, because it's got pockets and pockets and pockets, and I keep all my electronics in those. So that I just take off the vest and put that on the belt. And it saves you a lot of time going, oh, do I have anything here, anything here?
Absolutely.
Preparing, I always wear loafers too, or slip-ons, because I don't want to have to unlace my shoes.
Or you don't want to walk on the Petri dish.
That's another one. Always wear socks when you go to the airport, kids. Just a little tip from Uncle Leo.
Yeah.
All right, I think you have one.
I have one here. So, hey, Twit, I have a question for Frederick Van Johnson. I'm in love with my Nikon D800.
Oh, see?
Look at that,
Great
which has
camera.
about 17,000 clicks on the shutter odometer.
Wait a minute, how would he know that?
Because you can look in the preferences on your camera and see how many actuations are on that shutter.
Every camera?
Most, if not all cameras, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's how you know when you're buying something off eBay.
It's really like a car odometer.
It is. Yeah. So you can say, hey, look at this. And then not like not a lot of people know that. So they'll be selling a camera that has 20 actuations on the shutter. They have no idea that they have a brand new camera, but you can find out. So
what's too many?
That's a loaded question. That's like, how many is too many miles on your car? It depends on, are they city miles? Are they highway miles? Are they off-roading miles? Right. If you've beat your camera up and traveled with it, then 17,000 clicks on the shutter might be different than 17,000 shots of a baby, So it's different. It's an unanswerable question. It just depends.
One reason I like those old Leica film cameras, the brass fixtures in those, you can take hundreds of thousands of frames and just never wear out.
Yeah, I mean, the rule of thumb, today's camera, especially with the Nikon D800, 17,000 clicks is next to nothing.
Okay.
You know, that's next to nothing. That camera has a lot of life on it. So the rest of this question is, with a hobby that's slowly becoming a slide photography business, I'm starting to think about a backup system.
Oh.
Number one, how long should a pro DSLR like the D800 last? To answer that, it depends on how much you beat it up.
Right.
Right?
But what I find a lot of photographers do is they get, when the next generation comes out, they get that and they keep the old one as their backup body.
Yeah.
That way you can still use the glass you have.
Yeah,
Because glass does not wear out.
Glass, so spend your money on glass, spend your money on your tripod. Those things, if you take care of them, they'll last forever.
Right. And then when the new bodies come out, the electronics are always getting better and software's getting better.
Yeah.
So get the new body, but you've got that old one.
Exactly.
I have the Canon 5D Mark I as my backup body to my Mark II.
Yeah, and that's a good way to go. You just keep leapfrogging, you know, over and over again. So you answered question number 2. Would an APS-C camera in the Nikon ecosystem like the D7100 suffice as a backup, or would it make more sense to back up with another D800? Depends on money. How much money do you have? If money's no object, it'd be great to have 2 bodies that are exactly the same.
Well, and he mentions the crop factor.
Yeah.
So you go to an APS-C sensor, that 50 millimeter lens that you've been using on your D800 suddenly is a 75 millimeter lens.
Right.
That could be good. I mean, you're getting more.
It could be good, but
length, but it changes what you've got.
It changes what you're shooting.
Yeah.
Why I like to have the same, or at least the same crop factor, if not identical cameras, as a backup, it's because you set one up. If that one fails, you want to keep rolling. You can switch and everything's exactly the same. Right. You don't have to worry about, oh no, this 50 mil lens on this body is different now, so I should, it's a lot of overhead. It's easier just to have everything the same. You can just keep rolling if you want to. And the backup camera situation doesn't necessarily need to be, okay, break glass in case of emergency with the second camera. It could be, on this body, I'm going to put a longer telephoto lens. On the second body, I'm going to put a wide lens. That way I don't have to switch lenses and introduce
Another great reason to have a duplicate.
Exactly. So no dust depending on where you're traveling. Like Trey was at Burning Man, right? You don't want to change lenses at Burning Man.
Have you ever gone to Burning Man?
Never.
I can't imagine shooting at Burning Man. I wouldn't want to use a good camera there.
Yeah.
And yet the visuals are so dramatic.
I know. I'm jealous every time I see images from Burning Man.
Bring a good camera, but make sure it's expendable.
Exactly. Bring it. If you're going to Burning Man, bring a weather sealed camera, and that you don't mind losing. Right.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you, Steve. And I'm so glad whenever we get to get Frederick Van Johnson on the show, because I love talking photography. I know you do too.
I do.
Don't forget, Frederick has some great podcasts. The This Week in Photo family, and it's getting bigger.
It is growing. We're adding drones. We're adding the mobile.
You're doing a great
show.
job.
We're
great
doing
shows.
All kinds of stuff's coming.
Yeah. I'm glad you do it, because then we don't have to do it. It's like he's got photography down.
Yeah.
Is it too late to get our East Side T-shirts and mugs? We still have there's only a few days left. If you go to Teespring, TEESPRING.com, 1 week left, /twit. We've got, and they have the Twit logo on the front, but on the back, that beautiful East Side Studio logo that Anthony did to commemorate our move. But only a week left. We've sold a lot of them. We also have these beautiful hoodies. I bet the hoodies are selling well. And even mugs. So, and look at the back. Yeah, I love that. Isn't that a nice logo?
I need that mug.
Yeah, everybody does. Collect. That's what we do this for 30 days and make them kind of collectibles.
Yeah.
These will never be offered again after the 8 days go by.
552 sold already.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. Wow. And we don't mark it up particularly because we don't expect to make a lot of money on it. It's more because we want you to have that stuff.
Yeah.
We make a few bucks. I'm not saying we don't, but TEESpring.com/twit. We have our newsletter. I don't want you to forget. That's free. No salesman will call. We don't collect the addresses. We just use it for one thing and one thing only. Twit.tv/newsletter. It's a good way to find out what's coming up, inside news, announcements. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And we double opt in, so you can't subscribe to somebody else to it and all of that.
Yep.
We're doing it right. Now, we are at the end of this show, but that is no need to be sad, my friends. We will be back next Saturday. Actually, I won't be, but Patrick Norton, Father Robert Ballecer will, which should be a fun show.
You're going to be traveling, right?
I'll be on my vacation for the next couple of
Meeting
weeks.
Edward Snowden or something, right?
We weren't going to talk about it. But actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be in Estonia, and I want to get my digital e-citizen card. Estonia offers, It's not a passport. It doesn't proof of citizenship. It's available to anybody in the world. It has a PGP key on it. It has a chip with your PGP key on it.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be in town. I thought I might stop by and get my digital card.
There you go.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to be on vacation. Lots of pictures. I'll post them on Instagram and
360.
Facebook. And I might do that plotograph. That's pretty cool.
You got to do that plotograph.
Pretty cool. And I got a special selfie cam with a selfie stick.
Oh, that thing. Yeah. Don't. You're seriously going to take that with you?
Yeah. So this was Andy Anako's recommendation. Xiaomi makes an action cam now. That's
I
pretty
like that.
affordable.
I like that. It looks GoPro-ish, except for one.
It has an LCD,
on
which the
it?
GoPro never had. So the ability to see the picture you're taking. This is the Xiaomi's YI Action Cam 250.
That's
4K video.
Yeah.
And high quality. What is it? 12 megapixels.
Are you going to shoot 4K?
Yeah. I'm going to shoot 4K video that nobody can watch except me. and then I got a selfie stick.
You know where I was going with that.
You're going to get 4K selfies.
Do it. Do it.
Someday you'll be able to watch these.
So you're going to be that American running around Europe doing selfies.
And I've arranged the selfie stick just right so that it just looks like for some reason my arm is going out of the frame. You don't see the stick. It just looks like for some reason like maybe I'm holding something like a cocktail outside the frame. So it's a surreptitious selfie. Like what's his left hand doing? Nothing. Pay no attention. And yeah, it's gonna be good.
Don't do it.
No?
No.
I have a feeling
if doing stills with you and Lisa would be great. Of course.
I can do stills too.
It's gonna be great.
I can do stills.
But selfie 4K video, I don't know of a whole lot of uses for that.
Anyway, I'll be back like October 8th or something. That's gonna be a long time.
It's gonna be good.
But you can watch the show. We're still doing it every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Probably it'll start on time when I'm not here. 2200 UTC. If you can't watch live because it never starts on time, don't worry. You get on demand and start it whenever you feel like it. twit.tv/NSS or wherever you get podcasts. Make sure you subscribe, though. You don't want to miss an episode. Frederick, come back soon.
I'm coming back.
I have so much fun with you.
I'll have new shows next time I come back.
Good.
Yeah.
I bet you will.
Pocket shooters will be growing.
Shows like a cat under the
That's
neck.
what we do. There's a lot of photographers out there.
Thanks to our live studio audience. If you'd like to be here, leave about 6 a.m. Traffic's terrible. But do come. Email tickets at twit.tv. We'll put a chair out for you. We have a nice family from Sydney. They flew all the way here just for the show.
They did.
Nice to see them. Thanks to all of you for joining us. We'll see you next time on the new Screensavers. Bye-bye, everybody!
Peace.
Applaud! Applaud. You're all blurry, but that's because they're